It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show. Time to talk Northern Areas cricket. In fact, Mid-North cricket these days, not just Northern Areas. A man who's got his finger on the pulse of all of it is James Lang, joins me on the line. G'day, mate. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, thanks.
That's good. Forgot what we were talking about there for a minute.
It is the end of the week. That's what happens.
Happens from time to time. Northern Areas cricket, let's start there. We had a couple of games last week that, they all got through. All of the A-grade games in the end got through, but a couple of them were over pretty quick, mate.
Yeah, it was very, we'll say it was English conditions. It was freezing cold. It was threatening with rain, tiny bits of drizzle from time to time, and overcast. Now, I've got friends in the UK. They call that an English summer, so I guess we're experiencing it for the first time, but there seemed to be a better round for the bowlers and the batters with some of the results.
Well, there did seem to be that. In fact, we might start at Victoria Park, where Balali Manineri, see, I got it, they took on Wilmington Melrose, and this game didn't last long.
No, well, it was an early finish, unfortunately for the Wilmington Melrose crew. A combination of shifts in the mines for some of their more experienced players, and a nasty gastro bug left them quite short. But full credit to them for being able to get a team on the park. There was a lot of hard work done there. And sometimes when you only have a few of your regulars in the 11, you need a few things to go right. Unfortunately, the top order didn't last particularly long. So they unfortunately finished all out for 22, with Ryan Simpson, Shannon Fielding and Ryan Clark taking 3 for 2 each. And part-timer Jack Walton chipped in with the 10th wicket. In reply, the reshuffled Balali Manineri lineup passed them 2 down. So it was an early finish.
I think they got to race 3 at Randwick, the crew there, or maybe even race 2. But look, at the end of the day, Wilmington Melrose, anyone from the club listing, it wasn't the lowest total in country cricket over the weekend. That honour went to Ponder and Murraytown's cricket, who were rolled for 16. So don't be overly worried about it. I'm sure they'll get a few players back and be better in the future.
Yeah, if you play enough cricket, a lot of us have been through on both the sides of the equation on those types of results. So it is nice when you're on the good side, but certainly I can tell you I've been on the receiving end before.
So have I. I can relate. But the one good thing you get out of it is an early beverage. So I'm sure they enjoyed that, the boys.
Yeah, the sponsor's product was what was well used for the afternoon, we'll say.
In a game that wasn't over as quick, but nearly, they had Bullaroo Centre. Oraroo took on Bullaroo Wallawi, and Oraroo batted first, made 93, and you wouldn't have thought that would be enough, but, it was nearly double enough.
Yeah, Oraroo have been sort of one of the form sides of the season so far, and it was a bit of a shock to see them all out for 93 with Matt Haynes abandoning his wicket-keeping gloves and rolling out a few of his leg breaks, picking up 4 wickets for Bullaroo Wallawi. Unfortunately for Bullaroo Wallawi, Darcy Shute and Hudson Davies chipped in with 4 and 3 wickets, and they were skibbled for 46. So that was another early finish. They might have made race 5 or 6, I think.
That is incredible. So when you look at that, that's 20 for 139 on the day. The ball slightly dominant over the bat, you could say.
Very much so. And if you add the previous game that we discussed in as well, it's the type of conditions, the type of scores you'd expect when you've got some very English conditions. But of course, when you're playing on hard wickets, the pitch tends to be fairly consistent.
That's true. Let's move to a couple of games where there were some runs scored. Peetner Carrington, this was at Peetner Oval. They took on Bundalia. Not massive scoring. Great game of cricket, this one. Peetner Carrington, 8 for 148, I think, batting first, and Bundalia almost got them. Or was it the other way around?
Ripper game. Clearly the match of the round. Bundalia actually batted first.
They did, yep.
Yeah, put together some good scores there. Clayton Pycroft, the evergreen veteran, with 33. Skipper Matt Hagger, Clayton with 37. Skipper Matt Hagger with 33. Another evergreen veteran, Luke Clark, smashed 31 at the end. Brought them through to 8 for 144. And Pete McCarran, again, twice in 3 weeks now, they chased the score down in the final over. They were struggling early. They had fallen to six for 66, which, that's a devilish type score, one would say. But some terrific batting at the end from Will Bowman again, and young Jack Clark. Will with 33, and Jack finished unbeaten on 40, and they've had a last over victory. So they're certainly doing it by the skin of their teeth. But for Bundaleer, young Matthew Rice went under him, 4 wickets. That's his best return, 4 for 34 off 8. And Billy Platscott, a younger veteran for Pete McCarran, chipped in with 3 for 7 to the top of their bowling.
Wow, that's good going. Our last game of the round last week actually made our top 10 feats of the week, and it was a combined effort here from 4 different players who got this match into the top 10. Borough batted first. They made 9 for 246, so the bowler-friendly conditions didn't bother them too much.
No, they batted really well from the looks of it. Sam Matty chipped in with his first century of the season with 109. Jason Regan, again, scored 40 off just 33 balls, the way he loves to bat. Jeffrey Thompson, 59 off only 31. He certainly, including 6 sixes, he took the long blade out. For Spalding Booberawi, Stephen Toll chipped in with 5 for 46. And then in reply, Spalding Booberawi got off to a solid start with 24 from Zach Fielding, but just kept losing wickets consistently. Ben Whalen opened the batting, fell just short of a century with 97. Oof. And for Borough, Harry Quinn chipped in with 5 for 40.
That's right. So, folks, in that game, you got a century, a 97, and 2 fifers. Good luck picking the votes out if you're the umpires there.
Oh, I think that's where you probably put the team list on a dartboard, close your eyes and throw it and see where it lands.
Exactly. Cracking game of cricket and a good chase from Spalding Booberawi, but it wasn't to be. Obviously, 246 is going to win you a lot of games, and it did in this case for Borough.
Yeah, certainly. They've been the 2 best sides for quite some time now, so it's not surprising to see a pretty entertaining game of cricket.
Yeah. All right, let's pretend that rain doesn't exist for a moment and have a look at who's lining up against who this week. Round 6 of matches it is. Bundaleer due to host Spalding Booberawi. Who do you like there?
Be a very interesting game, that one. Bundaleer are definitely on the rise. Spalding Booberawi are such a quality side. Much will depend on what Mother Nature wants to do. If some guys have light rain and get relieved from farm duties, it'll be a much stronger Bundaleer side. But you'd have to go with Spalding Booberawi. They're such a quality team. Not by much, because Bundaleer are really coming on. So you'd say Spalding Booberawi just.
Okay. At Orroroo Oval, the home side welcome Borough to town, and they're going to need a lot more than 93 if they win the toss and bat first, the home team, against this Borough side, which is just knocking up scores.
Yeah, Borough are red hot at the moment. Extremely hard to beat. Orroroo have got a good side, so they'll challenge them. You would say, given the form of players of Matty, Thompson and Chupan, Orroroo will have their work cut out. You just think that Borough would be just a bit too good there.
Yep. Melrose Oval, Wilmington Melrose. Hopefully they get a few back this week, taking on Pete Carrington. Who do you like?
Well, this could be another Pete McCarran final over finish. They seem to be the Michael Bevins of local cricket. If Wilmington Melrose have their full squad, they're a much, much better team, and they want to bounce back strongly from last week. Given the form of the Bowman brothers and a few others at Pete McCarran, you'd probably have to say that they've just got their noses ahead and start as favourites.
Yeah. Belalee Manineri at Vic Park again. Bullaroo Wallawi. Now, Belalee Manineri were roughly 20 overs away from having the bye last week, but Bullaroo Wallawi probably offer a bit more of a challenge this week, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely on the up, Bullaroo Wallawi. That should be a tight game again. You'd probably just go with Belalee Manineri at home, but they're certainly Bullaroo Wallawi are really starting to come on, which is good.
Yep. Okie dokie. Let's move over to Stanley Cricket Association for a moment and have a look at what happened there last weekend. We'll start with Lower North. They took on Clare combined, and this was at Balaclava Oval, and it was Lower North in the end winning that one, 3 for 141, chasing down Clare combined's first innings total of 5 for 137 off 45 overs. Probably never going to be enough, 137.
Got a very good bowling side, Lower North, led by Chris Foggy Marshall, who's probably one of the better bowlers in the region. And they just bowled really, really tight there, restricting them to 5 for 137 from their 45 overs. Scott Stadale chipped in with 46 and Dylan Stutley with an unbeaten 39. They were going to have to bowl really well to try and get over the top of Lower North. Unfortunately, just wasn't to be. Just too good a side, Lower North. See Isaac Hammond and Caleb McFarlane chipping in there with 54 and 48. And they chased it down fairly easily, bringing it up in the 27th over. They just looked to be really warming up Lower North. They'd been a great side for a long time. So that's not a surprising result, but they're going to be very hard to beat as the season keeps going.
Yep, definitely. Auburn Mintaro, now, they did everything they could to keep wickets in hand. They forgot it was a 45-over match, though, because they finished their innings at 8 for 97. That won't be enough, and it wasn't. Seven Hills got them fairly quickly.
Yeah, it seems to be the entire Mid-North seem to have a round that favours bowlers. There's obviously some terrific type bowling there. Seven Hills just seem to be hitting their straps, and they didn't have a lot of trouble in chasing. The man from Black Rock, Scott Kirshner, chipped in with an unbeaten 47, and again, they also chased them down this time in the 26th over. So Seven Hill are just starting to warm up.
They most certainly are. And the last match of the round, it was Brinkworth Kalunga at Watervale Oval against the hosts. Brinkworth Kalunga batted first, and another man who made our top 10 feats of the week, he came in 10th spot, was Steele, 100 even in a score of 169. That's pretty good going.
Yeah, there's an innings dominated by Kane Steele, chalking up a century there. Young Jack Squire, young spinner, chipping in with another 4 wickets for Watervale. Unfortunately for Watervale, the shortage of players and impacts with a few other happenings seem to be happening a bit more than they'd like, and unfortunately they finished all out for 43. It looks as though I call him a young veteran, Paul Meyer, 4 for 8, and Jack Wickett chipped in with 3 for 12.
It's as long as it's not Peter Meyer rolling his arm over. We just wanted to clear that up. It's definitely not.
I think Paul's inherited the slow off breaks off his father, Pete.
The straight breaks? Yep, I like it.
Pete got me out in association cricket, so I'm not commenting.
Fair enough. Okay, let's move on to have a look at this week's games in Stanley Cricket. So there, we are up to round 6 as well. Some interesting games, actually. Seven Hill in good form at the moment. Lower North will head there to Seven Hill Oval, or Richardson Park, if you will. Who's going to win that one?
Well, Lower North, very hard to beat in any game at the moment. But Seven Hill just starting to hit their straps. You'd probably say Lower North on form, but good to see Seven Hill starting to hit the ground running, which is great.
Yep. We've got Brinkworth Kalunga at home. They're at Brinkworth Oval to Clare combined. Brinkworth and Clare, a bit of a history between these guys in any sport, really. But you'd have to think maybe Brinkworth at home.
Yeah, a fair bit of history back from the 80s and early 90s when Alan Stringer left BSR Football Club to coach North Clare. People still haven't forgotten about that. But, look, it's not far down the road. There always is rivalry there. Brinkworth Kalunga, always hard to beat at home. Clare will give them a fair shot, but you just have to run with Brinkworth Kalunga, particularly if Paul Meyer's ripping off breaks seem to be cutting the mustard.
Yep. And the last game of round 6 is Blythe Kabunga taking on Watervale. Watervale are going to need a few more than 43 this week.
Yeah, they need a few players back, Watervale. They're just a little bit short at the moment. On form, you would have to say Blythe Bunga would start as favourites. Let's hope Watervale can get back on track. Whilst they're having a few difficulties on field in the last fortnight, they do have one of the most picturesque grounds in the region. I love dropping in and visiting there when I go past.
It's a beautiful place. You're exactly right. Right, well, that's going to be an interesting round there of matches in Stanley Cricket. Let's have a look at Rocky River, and this will be quick because there were no matches to report last week. They, from what we can gather, neither of them really got through.
Mother Nature decided to intervene at Laura, and they never got started against Georgetown. I'm not 100% sure on the Gladstone Red Hill game, but being 9 kilometres down the road from Laura, I'm not surprised if that one also suffered the same fate.
Yep. We haven't got the details through there, but what we do know is who's playing who this week. Again, assuming Mother Nature doesn't intervene. But Laura have the bye, so they'll put their feet up regardless. Red Hill will host Crystal Brook at Red Hill Oval. And talk about history between teams. Well, sporting team rivalries don't get more heated than Crystal Brook and Red Hill.
Yeah, and there's that thin line there, which is also the SANFL recruiting boundary, which has seen the Hayes boys down at Woodville West Torrens and the Coombs at North Adelaide, even though there's not much distance between the properties. But that certainly will be a hard-fought one, and you are 100% right on the rivalry. Both sides are sitting at the foot of the table at the moment. Flip of the coin, perhaps Red Hill at home, but Crystal Brook's still got some wise old heads there, so this should be a pretty good game.
All right. What about Gladstone? They have an interesting assignment ahead of them against Georgetown at home. Who do you like in that one?
Also neighbouring communities with long-standing rivalries.
Yes.
That'll be another interesting game, and they're both next to one another on the ladder. Georgetown have had a good side for a long time, and Gladstone are on the up. I'm tipping Gladstone in a close finish to narrowly defeat Georgetown, and for the match to narrowly defeat Mother Nature.
Let's hope it does. All right, it's going to be another big round of matches in Mid-North cricket. James, before we wrap it up today, anything else for us?
We had some representative cricket again on the weekend. There's a build-up towards the selection for the combined Northern 11 for the SACA Men's Country Cup. Rocky River ventured. They were originally heading across to tackle Port Pirie on the turf, but thanks to the weather, they ended up playing on the hard wickets at Globe Oval. And certainly it was a resounding victory for Port Pirie, led by Kieran Blackwell, also the former Northern Areas cricketer from Peter Carron, a triple premiership player there. He took 5 for 22 as Rocky River were dismissed for 93, with Cameron Kerr the best there with 24 and Larry Klinger chipping in with 20. And for Port Pirie, they batted pretty well, chased it down with only the loss of a couple of wickets. Jake Clements from Crystal Brook taking both of them, finishing with 2 for 20. Zach Hutchinson and Patrick McNamara put on a good partnership at the end, finishing on 18 and 32 unbeaten. And so they passed them 2 wickets down with plenty of overs to go. So the next stage will be when the combined Northern Area Stanley side takes on the combined Rocky River Port Pirie side as a lead up towards selection for the combined Northern 11 and the Country Carnival. All things being equal, should be played in early Feb.
Yes, indeed. And I imagine you've got some work to do there. You'd be on that selection committee, wouldn't you?
No, administrators and selectors tend to sit separate.
Fair enough. Who is doing the selecting then?
The selecting there, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Right.
I tend to keep my nose a fair way out of that. Bo Wall was obviously involved previously from our neck of the woods. He's now relocated down to the Barossa. I do think that Sam Matty and Zach Fielding from our area, I'm not 100% sure on the remainder, but they try to have a few representatives and contacts of each of the associations, which is really good. So everyone gets a good feel on who's out there and what how people's form is trending at any given time, I suppose.
Makes a bit of sense. So consider that a question with notice for next week or the week after. But for now,
I'm not Paul Pierce. I don't select and coach
an attempt to umpire.
Well, I won't pick on the mayor of Merdinga. I'll leave him alone.
Oh, good man. Well, that's where we'll leave it. Mid-North Cricket. Fingers crossed we get some action this weekend. Good on you, James. We'll catch you next week, mate.
Thanks, mate. I'll have a full weather report, Tony Gregg style, for you.
Excellent. I expect the keys in the pitch as well.
Might be a bit hard in the concrete, but we'll see how we fare.
Good on you, mate.